All right. All right, looks like people are coming in. Now, the only thing I need to figure out real fast is if I'm recording this. I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm a little scared that it's not.
It's recording on my top left-hand screen as well.
It says recording?
Yep.
Okay, so we should be good. It looks like I could share this in the Facebook group too. Wait, no, maybe not. What's up, everybody? Just making sure I'm getting all my stuff situated here. I think that we're good to go. I'll give another minute for people to hop on. Yeah, you can throw stuff in the chat, or you can ask a question. You'll see a Q&A section wherever you're at. So go ahead and make sure that this is working. If you guys want to throw a chat in, just say what's up, maybe where you're from, where you're tuning in from. Quite a bit of people on. Hopefully we don't hit our cap. Trampus is here, Asher's here, Ryan from Chicago, and Ryan from Kuwait. That's awesome. All right, Florida, it's coming in fast. Cool. It looks like everything's working, so we will get started with the webinar today and going over some stuff. So I know we have a lot of garage gym athletes here, excited to learn about the new cycle, and we also have probably some people who aren't garage gym athletes who are attending just from the Into 3 Fitness community. And my goal this webinar is to update you on what we have coming up with our training cycles, how we'll be attacking those things, how we'll be attacking the training cycles. I'm going to talk about the Women's Health Track, give some updates in general to Into 3 Fitness and things that we're doing, and also be just talking about effective training in general, where you can see how we do it. And a lot of you, if you pay attention closely, you know how we do it, but I'm going to be going over it in very simple terms today where people understand. And I want people to understand why we're the best in the business. So we're going to get started. Here we go. All right. So cycle 1, January through March, where it's coming to a close right now, was Operation Overlord. And now, we were hitting the beaches. I had this big theme on, it being Operation Overlord, D-Day, if you're unfamiliar, which is really awesome. We're not going as thematic this time, but I just think it's crazy that I used, kind of a war reference, and now we've landed. And turns out 2020 is going to be a grind with everything we have going with COVID-19, coronavirus stuff, social distancing, everything. It pretty much feels like this year is going to be a grind. And so we have landed on the beach, and things are not going to get easier now. I know a lot of people are working from home, and a lot of people are new to the garage gym athlete world. And I want to let people know of something we're doing. We do this maybe once a year. Sometimes, really probably only once a year, is 30 days of training for $1. And it's a really good deal. So, you're getting a third of the cycle for $1. And I know a lot of you are already garage gym athletes, but the reason I'm telling you guys this is if you want to share it, we're going to provide that link for everybody. If you want to share that, people getting involved, maybe want to be on the No Gear Track or whatever. If they want to just do 30 days and that's it for $1, that is a great option for anybody out there who's new to training at home or whatever. We will be doing that. It'll start next week. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know. If you're on the webinar and you're not signed up for our training, then that option is going to be available to you as well. So more details coming on that. It's not something we do all the time, but I think just with everything we have going, coronavirus, COVID-19, new people training at home, it'd be a great opportunity for people to get involved with what we're doing. All right, so cycle 2, I'm just calling Operation Perseverance because we have to persevere. We have to keep going and really grind. I've been getting messages from people who don't normally work from home, who are working from home, and they're, asking for some advice and tips, and just a lot of craziness. Kids not in school, childcare situations screwed up. I know it's really difficult for everybody maybe to juggle all these new things. For some of us, this is pretty much life as usual. I see Jason Woods in the chat. I'm pretty sure things aren't much different for him, like they aren't much different for me, just because this is kind of how we operate, and same with the rest of the team. But we're here to support in any way, you guys. need us. So please lean on us in any way possible, and we'll get you taken care of. So what am I going over today? Well, we're going to be doing updates. Like I mentioned, I'm going to go over quickly what highly effective training looks like and what our overall approach, our overarching approach is to garage gym athlete training. So what I think highly effective training is. And we're going to go over the track briefs. So the track briefs are just quick. It's one slide. I say, hey, here's what we're doing on the shred track. Hey, here's what we're doing on the hard to kill track. What does that look like for you as an athlete? This is also where you can ask questions. And speaking of questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, if it pops up, throw it in the Q&A section here on Zoom, or you can throw it in the Zoom webinar chat, whatever you want to do. Joe and Ashley are here, and they will help with some of those questions, and I will get to some of them at the end as well. So that is what we have going on. Let's get into it. So updates for me. The team. I like to introduce everybody every webinar. So there's me. I'm the one speaking, Jared Moon, if you're unfamiliar. Joe Courtney, Ashley Hicks, Kyle Schrum, and then VD. So what we have here, Joe Courtney, he is really behind the scenes magician and is helping a lot of that stuff. Ashley helps as well. She's also kind of leading the women's health track this cycle. Kyle is one of our coaches. So if you sign up for coaching, everybody pictured as a coach, but if you need accountability or whatever, he would be the guy you're speaking to primarily. And VD is our shred track overlord and master programmer there. And so an announcement or addition to the team would be Marco Rosa. You guys have heard him on the podcast. He is now a part of the team as a programmer. He's going to be helping me this cycle with programming. Marco, I'm super glad to have him as a part of the team. We have an EO3 coaching certification that all of our coaches go through, and he went through the program in record speed, and also at the end we have you test your programming. And Marco put together some of the most impressive programming I've seen in that course in all the years I've been doing it. Really got my attention. He's also created some systems and processes with Excel spreadsheets, things I didn't even know was possible. So he's doing a really awesome job, and he's going to be helping me out and really putting more things together, specifically with the Endure track and some other stuff. But Marco's now a part of the team. You can welcome him and say what's up if you need any help. He is another master programmer that we're adding to the team. All right. Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. So we have 2 giveaways going on. We have a barbell giveaway. If you were to go to garagegymathlete.com or end-of-3fitness.com, you would see at the top of either one of those websites that a barbell is being given away. Click on that link, enter to win. And then also we're doing free t-shirts. So we're going to drop our first ones on this coming Monday episode of the podcast. So you have that coming with t-shirts. If you left a review, we're giving away free t-shirts on the podcast. Now, you see, I put plus your secret weapon, and this is something I just want I want to encourage everyone to listen to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast, because, and a lot of people do, but the reason I want you to listen to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast is I think it will give you the deepest understanding of what we're doing, why we program things, and how to be, what we like to call dangerously effective. So it's everywhere. You just search wherever you listen to podcasts, Garage Gym Athlete, you should find us, and just listen to our episodes. We drop episodes interviewing athletes, and we have Ask Me Anythings, and we have the Monday episodes where we cover science and all of these types of things. So I would really encourage you to be a part of the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. That way, either if you want to do an interview with us, but also just listening to what we're talking about in programming and making sure that you're really well-rounded, because that is where really I feel like the people who I know are listening to the podcast and also following the programming are getting the most out of what we're doing, because they're not missing anything. And so I highly encourage you to go check out the Garage Gym Athlete podcast if you are not listening already. All right, the women's health track, let's officially welcome, lots of welcoming here, but welcome the women's health track to Garage Gym Athlete. So if you're not familiar, at the end of last year, the last cycle of 2019, we did women's health track beta test. It wasn't in the app. It wasn't in Team Builder. It was really just run through a Facebook group with Ashley and my wife, Emily, and they were coaching females going through that program, helping everyone out. And so that is now going to officially be a coaching program / track at Garage Gym Athlete. And so that's really exciting. But there are a few explanations, and this will be further explained in the podcast too. But what we have here is this is not going to be a standard track where you just go do a track change and you're on the women's health track. This is actually going to be a coaching upgrade. So the reason we're doing this is because you get a lot of coaching from Ashley and Emily. So it's a $49 one-time fee, kind of like the Fuels course is a one-time fee, and then you're in. That's how the women's health track is going to be. And so let me show you how to access that. If you go to the women's in the documents and links in the app, if you go to women's health track coaching upgrade, you can go there. You can do it now. You can do it later, whenever you want. You can upgrade for that $49 fee. You'll get put in touch with Ashley and Emily as your coach. They'll send you an email on what to do. You'll get added to the Facebook group, and then they'll start tailoring nutrition and all these other things. So just something for you guys to be aware of, that we have the women's health track here. It is more of a coaching program than it is just a track of programming. I'm sure you guys will have some questions about that. If you do, feel free to let us know. Most of the team is educated on what we're doing and how we're doing it. So that is the women's health track. And so welcome that to the family here. All right, we're moving into Fit Week this next week. And we will be doing testing. So this is something I like to bring up every time, just so you know. We want you to PR. So if during Fit Week, we do a lot of testing, a lot of barbell testing, a lot of conditioning metrics. If you PR, step 1. Step 2, submit a video in the Facebook group. So if you have a video in the Facebook group, then we will send you a PR shirt, and you'll have that PR shirt and get access to everything that we provide. But the red shirt is only for 5 PRs, and it has to be in the one cycle. So these are free shirts. You don't cover the cost of shipping. You don't do it, just 100% free. The only thing that we ask is that you submit a video with good form, and it has to be a PR in our Facebook group. This helps facilitate the community aspect of what we're doing, and we want to see those PRs. We want to celebrate them with you and get everything going. All right. Let me keep going. If you guys have any questions about that, which is normally, this is the first question, where do I submit my PR shirt? Also in the documents and links sections, you can hit the PR shirt link. It'll link out. You enter in your information, and you could submit for a PR shirt. So we send those out black and red, black for 1, red for 5. And the EO3 elements, I'm going to be talking about this a little bit more, but I just want to emphasize this probably every webinar. I should probably talk about it every day if I could. The EO3 elements are super important to seeing results on any track that you're doing. I don't care if it's the women's health track, the no gear track, legacy track, hard to kill track. You need to be following the EO3 elements on a daily basis. It's in the app, and you can go download that PDF. We've done an entire podcast over it, but it essentially consists of 9 elements that you need to dial in to see results in health and fitness. So go do it. All right, if you do want to change tracks, you can do that right there. So change tracks at any time, especially after this webinar. A few things to note. I think Joe normally wants me to say, but I don't fully know. Joe, you correct me if I'm wrong. You can switch now. Because everyone has the same Fit Week. So you can switch whenever you want, but you're not going to see any changes until the new cycle officially starts. So next week, this is a live webinar. So next week is Fit Week. Then the week after that is when we will begin the new cycle. So that's when you would see things change. The full week of programming typically drops Saturday night, Sunday morning, something like that, depending on where you're at in the world. And then you can see all the new programming. All right. Sorry, just had to get some water. Killing Comfort patches. Another update. So if you maintain over 80% consistency in a cycle, we will send you a Killing Comfort patch. This is still going on. We're going to keep doing this. So we will look at Killing Comfort patches here coming up in about a week. I guess would be when we will take a look at the next round of Killing Comfort patches. So if you've been consistent in this last cycle, you've gotten those green dots in the app, we will send you the Killing Comfort patch. This is not something that you can buy. You can only earn it. All right, those are all the updates. Now we're going to get into the goods. Here we go. Getting what does highly effective programming look like? What should it be like? And I kind of want to go over this new diagram we put together to help people understand what Into 3 Fitness is and what we do, because a lot of people get confused about this. So there are really 3 parts to our programming and what we're doing at Garage Gym Athlete. The first part is we are a concurrent training program. So concurrent training is when you're really adding 2 elements of training together. For us, it's strength training. It's basically strength and conditioning. And we do this in many different forms, but all the tracks are a form of concurrent training. So we don't have a powerlifting track where you're only going to lift. We don't have an endurance track where you're only going to run. Every single track is going to blend these things to the best of our knowledge, ability, and research that we found to make it effective for your goals. We do have different tracks that will emphasize one thing more than the other, but they all are still concurrent training tracks. And this is not the same as CrossFit. While we do some short Metcons or metabolic conditioning that you would see, your circuit style training, definitely is not CrossFit, because CrossFit has a definition. I say it all the time. It's constantly varied function movement performed at high intensity. See how I have that memorized? So I can tell people what CrossFit is. When they say that we do CrossFit, I can say, no, we don't, because here's the definition of CrossFit. So we don't do constantly varied function movement performed at high intensity. We do high intensity occasionally, but not frequently. We do functional movement, and we don't really vary. We are more progressive approach, linear periodization type. We do programming anyway. Body geometry is the next iteration, the next thing that we have within our programming, and it's just really balancing an athlete out. And I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. And then we have the EO3 elements, which I already mentioned. But I will go over them, not in detail, but I'll mention each one of those as I kind of progress through effective training. So Into 3 Fitness, what are we? We are concurrent training based, and how this looks for you guys, you'll do week 1 of concurrent training, whether that's, like I said, any track, shred track, hard to kill, anything like that. It is a form of concurrent training. You do that for 3 weeks in a row. So this is what your life looks like. You're going to go through some 3-week wave. Typically, things are progressing harder week to week. So we start week 1, not as challenging. We go to week 2, a little bit harder. Week 3, harder, hardest, before we go to a deload week, which is body geometry. So that is week 4. And this is how we progress through every 12-week cycle. There are 3 of these waves. So 4-week waves to make a 12-week cycle. That 4th week is a deload, or what we call body geometry. We deload in multiple different ways. We can deload in volume or intensity. But body geometry is making sure that we hit every type of muscle contraction, every plane of movement, and that we are really making you well-rounded. There's a lot of data and research behind body geometry that makes it, that has proven to reduce injury, not just from us, specifically pulled from a police academy that puts about 200 people through it every quarter, and they have for years. And we modeled their movement competency streams because they saw something like a 65% reduction in injury after they started making sure they were checking all these things off. We took that research, combined it with our own methodology, and made body geometry. So in doing this, our goal is to keep you injury-free, functional, and ready for anything, while also deloading for a week and giving your central nervous system a break, giving your body a break from the harder training that we do pursue for 3 weeks. This should keep you really engaged mentally, knowing, I know it's a long, 12-week cycles are a long time. It's hard for people to commit to something that long, but we really feel like you need 12 weeks to make a change. But if you do struggle with something like that mentally, I want to highly encourage you to only think about, look, I'm going to go hard for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to back off for a week, take a break, whatever, and then I'm going to do another one of these things. Really look at them as the 4-week waves, not necessarily a 12-week cycle. that might keep your motivation level high and your commitment, your ability to stick to the program a little bit higher as well. Now, the last thing that we have is the EO3 elements. So what are the EO3 elements? One is sleep, making sure that you get enough sleep, 7+ hours, making sure that you're hydrating at least 50% of your body weight, making sure you're getting some blood flow. So like additional aerobic, I don't want to call it training, aerobic work. So whether that's walking your dog, playing with your kids, some like 10, at least 10 additional minutes per day dedicated to just getting some blood moving. Getting an adequate amount of sun or vitamin D in your life, digestion, making sure that you smell your food, chew your food, and just those two things will get you a long way. Like chew your food, seriously. Like a lot of people aren't. I see people swallow their food. Chew it as many times as you need to make it easy for your body to digest. Meal timing, or 12 hours per day is our recommendation for most people. 12-hour. At least a 12-hour break. Hopefully I'm still good. It said my internet connection is unstable. I'll keep pressing on as if everything's good to go though. So that's meal timing. Making sure the next one is warm up and cool down before and after every training session, because the research just goes with the more you warm up and cool down, the less injuries that you are going to have. The last one is nutrition, getting a good amount of protein and vegetables at least 2 different meals throughout the day. And then the last one is down regulation. So having some sort of breathing practice, meditation practice, something at the end of the day, limiting nighttime light exposure so it doesn't suppress your melatonin. So down regulation towards the end of the day, and that's going to help with the sleep. So those are the 9 elements, the 9 tenets of the EO3 elements, and that is 30 of them. So what we want you to get across body geometry, deload week, and our 3 weeks. We want you to get a green dot with EO3 elements every single day. So every single training day, you should be shooting to get as many EO3 elements. Now, I track my EO3 elements. They're in the app. And I don't worry about there's 9 of them. I don't worry if I don't get all 9 every single day. I don't get all 9 every single day. I get 9, maybe once or twice per week. There'll be something that gets thrown off. Maybe I wasn't able to do some sort of down regulation process, or maybe I didn't get outside enough. There are a lot of reasons that I could not get 9 of them, and it's okay. We're not shooting for perfection. We're just shooting for as many as we can every single day. So get those EO3 elements. It's at the top of the app. It's very important. It's really not important for us. It's important for you. It's really, really important for you. That's not something that needs to be thrown into a program. We could have easily just give you, programming with a barbell and a bike and everyone would be happy. But we want this in here because we truly want you to see the results that you want to see. And we know if you check off these EO3 elements and start making this a habit, a part of your daily routine in life, you're going to get pretty far and you're going to see a lot of results. All right, keep going here. That is it. That is what we see as effective training. So the combination of hitting EO3 elements every single day, a body geometry week at the end of a wave, 3-week wave, that 4th week is going to be body geometry, and also concurrent training. The research on living a long time and performing at an optimal level all backs concurrent training. There is really not a better modality. And this is the only type of training I've seen where people don't end up broken or nearly dead at the end of their training career. I'm sure you all seen powerlifters who need hip replacements at 46, or, I'm not going to get into all offending every single type of fitness out there, but concurrent training probably is the safest route you could go in building some muscle and strength while also building up your VO2 max and aerobic conditioning and just being a better human for it. So those are the 3 tenets that we have and believe that these are what's needed to have a really well-rounded program. And we're thinking about all these things for you in our programming. So you don't have to think about them. If you do want to dive into any of these topics a little bit more, I have free article at the blog. So you can go to into3fitness.com and check out the blog. And we have articles, in-depth articles on concurrent training and how we do it, in-depth articles on body geometry, and an entire video/webinar presentation on EO3 elements. If you guys want to jump into any of those anymore, you absolutely can. All right, we're getting into the track briefs. I'm going to go back, just give you guys a teaser, and then take a sip of water, and then we'll get into the track briefs. All right. Shred Track Brief. So this is the Shred Track. What is the goal this cycle? The goal is going to be body composition, as Shred will be. Now, something to note there, the goals are going to change slightly, but now with having so many tracks, they don't change a lot, because that's why we have the track. So it can really focus on that one thing. So this cycle is a 12-week progression that develops strength, motor control, body geometry, mobility, and stability in a range of positions by controlling the time under tension and strict rest periods. Conditioning will be developed over the course of the cycle by using functional movement patterns in a circuit style or mixed modal endurance for time. So that means you are going to see mixed modal training, circuit type training, and it's going to really push you. If I know anything about how VD likes to program them, they are going to be really fun. For those of you who've been on the Shred Track, VD is awesome at programming these things. Now, what it looks like for you, you're going to move from simple to complex movements. You will be building from week to week. So that means things will get a little bit more challenging each week, and that's kind of what I explained in our methodology. We're going to be prioritizing a lot of quality over quantity, and that's something you should just keep in mind if you're going to be on the Shred Track, because it might not always be stated, but you want to make sure you're focusing on quality over quantity. So if, getting quality movement every single time is so important on the Shred Track, as opposed to just trying to get as much work done as possible. So really focus when you're doing the Shred Track. And you're going to see increasing intensity as the cycle progresses. So that means from wave 1 to the third wave, things are just going to increase in intensity as you progress along. So that is the Shred Track, and we will be sending all this stuff out. You guys can screenshot it or whatever, but you also are going to get sample training so you can actually see what it looks like, but I'll do my best job to show you. Now, the Endure Track is going to be endurance and body composition, which kind of seem like counterintuitive, right? But this cycle will focus on building intensity through structured interval training with short and long bouts. We will combine hypertrophy strength with endurance training in an effort to minimize the concurrent training effect, which is where endurance for strength kind of fight each other on results, and bolster results in both areas. Body geometry will have a major focus this cycle, as well as monostructural conditioning. So let me explain that by going through what it looks like. So supersets with a hypertrophy focus. So you're going to see more body geometry style lifting. If you're familiar with body geometry, there's just a lot of different supersets. Like I said, we're making sure we're hitting different planes of movement. You're going to see that, but with more of a hypertrophy emphasis throughout the cycle. So muscle growth. And then you're going to have short interval and long interval days. And you're going to have 2 endurance and 2 strength days. Now, from what we've pulled from the research and what you guys have probably heard if you listen to the podcast, the best way to try and get stronger and still have some muscle growth while building up endurance in concurrent training would be to separate days. And that's kind of what we're doing. We're going to have strength day, endurance day, strength day, endurance day. It's going to be that simple for the Endure Track, pretty much for the entire cycle, because we want to actually get some muscle growth going, get some more strength included in there, while also throwing in some endurance training. And the endurance training is primarily going to be interval training. That way also we can reduce that catabolic effect that there is when you have, just going for a 60-minute run is really breaks the body down. We're going to be trying to make sure that we are balancing work to rest ratios for endurance training, where we're not going to negate what you're doing in the strength training arena. So the endurance training, the Endure Track will look a little bit different than it has in the past, just a lot more work on hypertrophy, bodybuilding style stuff. If I keep using that word hypertrophy and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, it just means muscle growth. So bodybuilding style lifts, you will see some accessory work, some focused muscle work, but you also see the compound barbell movements, followed by essentially a short interval day and a long interval day. And that is how we'll be doing it on the Endure Track this go round. There we go, strength track. So it's been a while. This isn't a repeat. It's just a repeat in methodology. If you've been around for a long time, you probably remember Conjugate for the other guy was one of our OG tracks that we did. So that is something we are going to be doing again. So this cycle will consist of 2 components. First, you'll see a lot of traditional strength training programmed in a conjugate manner, with loads of accessory work. So a lot of accessory work this time. Second, 1 day per week will be dedicated to a functional strength with strongman style carries and walks. This is not something that we have done before. And I do want to throw it out there with the strongman stuff after I go over the looks like. So real quick, looks like one functional strength day each week. So what do I mean by that? This functional strength strongman style stuff. Now, we're not going to require any special implements. We're not going to say, hey, you need to go get a log, or you need to get an Atlas stone, or you need to get a keg. That's not what I mean by strongman style stuff. We will just be doing a lot of, at least 1 day per week, we'll have loaded carries or more garage gym strongman type stuff that you can do with just the equipment that you have. If you had a sandbag, that would be perfect, especially if it could be a heavier sandbag. But that's what we're going to be doing in this functional strength with strongman style stuff. So that's going to be 1 day per week. You're going to see a lot of accessory work programmed almost every single day. So just a ton of accessory work, a lot more than we normally program. We normally do a lot more barbell volume and then a little bit of accessory. That's almost going to be flipped this time. So we're going to have dynamic effort days and heavy effort days every single week, and fewer intensity waves. So what does that mean? Typically on the strength track, this is what you see. You see week 1, progress to week 2, a little bit harder, a little bit heavier, progress to week 3, heaviest, and then deload. That is linear periodization 101. That will not be happening on the strength track this time, because that's not how conjugate style or system works. We're going to be having a really heavy day followed by a dynamic effort day, and the lifts will change, the intensities will change. So it's going to be, not a very linear style program this time around. This is we've only done this one other time on the strength track, and it's been several years since we did it. But just so people know that it's not random, there's nothing random about it. Just because you can't initially see how we are periodizing it doesn't mean it's not a well thought out program. So you won't be seeing just heavier each week. It's actually going to be a lot of fun. I think this will be a very fun strength cycle for those who want to get stronger, because you get to do those strongman lifts, and then you also will get a heavy day, and then another day will be just dynamic. So dynamic is for speed. It's going to be lighter, so you're not going to get beat up on this strength cycle. There's really going to be one super heavy day. Then the rest of the week is focused just on accessory, strongman, and dynamic stuff. So that's a good thing for people to know. It's not just like, oh man, I got to lift heavy 4 days. That can take a real toll on your central nervous system and your motivation. So that's how we're going to be rolling with a strength cycle this time around. All right, hard to kill. What are we doing? So this cycle will continue in the H2K fashion. The goal is just to be hard to kill. Like I didn't even know what to put in there, because it's just well-rounded. We want you to be well-rounded. Every single thing that we can throw in there, we do. And we're going to hit every energy system and 13 areas of training we focus on every 30-day wave. That is kind of the staple to the hard to kill track. The other tracks do not do that. Hard to kill is it gets the full range of everything we think a human being should train over every 30-day wave. You will see functional weeks followed by monostructural weeks, volume-based lifting to start ending with tempo lifts towards the end of the cycle. So I'm just being real upfront with what the strength training is going to do, but I want to help you understand that functional week by then monostructural week. So grunt work weeks followed by interval weeks. So if you were to think about it, week 1 of hard to kill, you're going to see you'll see strength training, but you're also just going to see like some grunt work, those 30-minute grinds that are typical in hard to kills that are just work, things like bear crawls and carries and these circuit training, longer duration, just grunt work for 20 to 30 minutes at a time, 10-minute versions, all that throughout the entire week. That would be week 1. Week 2, that will all disappear, and it'll go to monostructural energy system training. So what does that mean? That means you'll be running, cycling, whatever, basically interval training, some stuff you might see on the enduro track, just shorter in duration. And so that is how and it's going to flip back and forth each week. So you're going to go grunt work style to interval style, just monostructural, traditional training. And then that's going to flip back and forth week to week, and they're going to progress off of each other as opposed to being linear in nature. So kind of how that strength track approach is going to be. So there's going to be a wide range of strength, volume, and intensity throughout the program. So we're going to go, each wave is going to be almost completely different strength training. So you can expect complete changes each 4-week wave and how we're doing the strength training, ending with that tempo in the final wave. And I put in there, you could possibly meet yourself during the week. And that has happened, sometimes people like to refer to it as meet yourself Tuesday. It all depends on how hard you push yourself. But there will be some very interesting and fun workouts, throughout the week on Hard to Kill. And you will never be bored. Like, for real. There's going to be so much variation in the week to week on Hard to Kill that you just really can't get bored. I did just see one question come in and said, is H2K track a combo of all the other tracks? Not really. I would say it's the other way around. Hard to Kill gets written first, and then the other programs take out what they need from the ideas of the programming. And so Hard to Kill is trying to see as much as we can in 30 days without being random. And we've found with those 13 different areas all being able to hit twice every 30 days is perfect to see results in every single area. And so that is what you can expect. It is not really a combo of the other tracks because the strength training is going to be its own. Nothing will be repeated. If you were to look at all the different tracks, they're all completely different. The only thing they might share sometimes is the daily work that we do, like some of the abdominal stuff or lower back stuff, things like that. But nothing repeats and nothing is reused. All right, women's health track is the last one to kind of go over. And the goal is going to be weight loss. So this cycle focuses on every known principle of stimulating hormonal responses from training that will make for significant changes in body composition. So weightlifting, interval training, lactic acid training, Tabata. So you will see barbell and dumbbell work on a weekly basis and a lot of accessory work. You'll see weekly interval work, like sprinting, or, sprinting is an aggressive term, but running in general, interval running. A lot of Tabata exercises. And each day has a focus that progresses in weekly waves. So you'll kind of get the idea after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the women's health track. You'll be like, okay, these are the things that we're doing, and then they'll just progress over the 12 weeks. And we've taken this program for one of our most proven and effective programs that we've put together several years ago, and we've just made the tweaks to it to make it the women's health track. So it's a very, very proven program, a lot of research behind it, and it's also a lot of fun. It's not like any of the other tracks. It's each day has a focus, and that, Wednesday ties to Wednesday next week, and it's more linear in nature like that. So you can keep track of your progress and see what you're doing right and see how, what needs to be adjusted, and it really is a lot of fun. And that's the women's health track. I already talked about how to be a part of that. So sample training, everyone kind of wants to know, like, oh, I get it. You explained them, but can I see the sample training? Absolutely can tomorrow. So we are going to email it out in 5-Line Friday. After I email it out in 5-Line Friday, I'm also going to, we'll put it in the Facebook group. We'll put it anywhere and everywhere we can. We try to provide links as many places as we can. So you guys will get to see it all tomorrow. The only thing I like to encourage you to do, this is where the FOMO sets in, is like, man, which track should I be on next? I push people every time. Just think about what your goals are. What do you want to do? What do you want to be part of? What do you want to achieve over the next 12 weeks? And, what's realistic? Some people with the current situation, like maybe you need to be on the no gear track, in all honesty, because of what's going on with the world, So maybe you need to be on our no gear track. And that's just something you'll have to think about and what you want to be a part of. But think about your goals are, what you want to achieve, and don't pick one just because, it sounds cool. Pick one because you're interested in it. And that sounds like it's what you want to do for your goals. And now I do want to mention, we do have other tracks. So I went over women's health track, shred, endure, hard to kill. So there's 3-block, which is 30-minute workouts. Those will just follow hard to kill like they always have. So 3-block is a condensed version of hard to kill. So still a well-rounded program, but it's just 30 minutes per day. We also have our legacy track, which is just a combination of our most proven programs, 1-man, 1 barbell, 1-man body weight system, and 1-man, 1 kettlebell. And then lastly, I already mentioned, but we do have the no gear track. So no gear really required. There are some pull-ups typically in the program, but other than that, most of the program is not, you don't need an apparatus. It's just training with your body. And it's not easy. Like these are not throwaway body weight workouts. It is still a complete program that's been thought out, planned out, programmed to meet, all of the guidelines that we have in our programming. So some people, a lot of the feedback I get on there is people think that it's just going to be like easy or random workouts. It's still very much programmed with a lot of thought behind it, and people have a lot of fun on the No Gear track. So what questions do you have? A lot of them probably been answered. I'll look in the Q&A here if I can access it. All right. There it is. It looks like 18 were answered. Let me see here. It looks like most of them were answered. I'm just going through these guys. Women's health track will be ready for this next cycle. Absolutely. You can get started now. Yeah, so the 30 days for $1. This is something that we're doing to try and help a lot of people who are already who need, to get into the programming and so on and so forth. Like, this is not something that we're doing for everybody. It's for new athletes. So they need, their gym got shut down, whatever, they can get 30 days for $1. It's our way of helping people get in the program without making it free, because if we were to make it free, we would run out of slots. We wouldn't be able to support. Anyway, I think you guys get it. Like, if we open it up free, which would be awesome, that we just couldn't support it. So 30 days for $1. Then after that, it kicks into normal rate for everybody to stick around for the rest of the cycle. All right. I think most of these were answered. Someone asked, when's the Killing Comfort book come out? Looking like the end of April, beginning of May. I'm still saying that possibly we could delay it just because of the coronavirus, and but we'll see. Let me see if anything else is popping up here. Jeremy says, I want to be stronger and faster for longer. H2K has been helpful, but I'm thinking about strength. I run most Tuesday nights with long runs on Saturday. Thoughts on track? You want to be stronger and faster for longer duration. I mean, I would say, yeah, you could do the strength track and add your own running in there. That just might get a little crazy later on. I would probably just do the endure track. And who's taking away my questions as I'm reading them? All right. So anyway, I lost that one. I would do the endure track and just focus on going a little bit heavier on the strength that we program. That would be my suggestion there. Just making sure you're pushing yourself in the strength training. All right. Another question. Will H2K track help improve endurance? Absolutely. It just won't be focused on endurance. So when I say the 13 different areas of training, I know it's a little vague. I just don't feel like covering all 13 because it's a lot. We've done entire webinar presentations for an hour over the 13 different areas before. So endurance is one of those things. So we will hit endurance, throughout the program on the H2K track. Multiple times throughout the month. And so it will improve your endurance, and it will improve every other energy system as well. So yes, it will. It just is not a 100% focused on that. All right. If there's anything else, I think I should go over. I think PR shirt questions were answered. If you're traveling a lot, No Gear track is great. Also, we have free workouts Joe mentioned in the app, so you can go download 30 days of No Gear track. And yeah, so someone asked, is the women's health track different than what we did last time? It absolutely is. It's very different. The program is completely different. It's in the app now. we're more prepared to support and everything. So yeah. So Enduro will take on, Ryan said, well, so Enduro will take on more of the body comp stuff. Normally that's a shred thing. So they're both body comp. But they're just going to be way more endurance training in the endurance, in the Enduro track, if that makes sense. So if you're looking for body composition plus endurance would be it. If you're looking for primarily only body composition, you don't really care about your, long-term endurance, then I would be on the shred track. If I want to lose fat without losing too much muscle or strength, shred or endure, or just stay on hard to kill. No. So lose fat without losing too much muscle. I would probably be on, trying to realistically say, I think you probably want to be on the shred track. I think you will be fine on endure. You just need to make sure your diet is dialed in. Just don't go into a caloric deficit. And I don't think you're going to lose muscle on any of the tracks. That's my real answer. Like, I don't think that you need to worry about it as long as you're eating as much as you should. All right. I think that's everything, guys. If you have any other questions, is there another one coming up? Oh, which book cover won out? I will let you know in the Killing Comfort group. I got to keep that a secret. But I will let you guys know in the Killing Comfort group. Matt says, I work out 3 to 5 extra times per week on top of Hard to Kill. Have you ever considered offering a double program? So like a Hard to Kill plus shred. No. We haven't considered that. One, I don't think that there would be, well, realistically, I don't think there'd be enough interest. And two, that's a lot of volume. That's a lot of volume to be knocking out. If you were to be doing, like we've had athletes do, some of our body weight workouts plus like Hard to Kill, and that's worked out okay. But like a straight double track, it would just be a lot of, that'd be a lot of freaking volume. I think it would be borderline unsafe at that point, just because the 2 tracks are so robust. I don't know what your extra training is, but, throwing in an extra Metcon or, going cycling or whatever, that's one thing. But following 2 linear progression strength programs simultaneously with 2 forms of conditioning, so on and so forth, that would be a lot of volume. What about an aerobic conditioning track? That's essentially our Enduro track. As I mentioned, all of our tracks are concurrent training. So we won't have a track that is, like I said, like a strongman track where we're only going to lift, or a aerobic endurance track where we're only going to run and do endurance stuff. All of our tracks are going to have that concurrent training focus where both are going on at the same time. Tia says, I missed a chunk of the webinar, so maybe this was already answered. So we will get into the women's health track just like the other tracks, or is this special? It's special. It is a $49 one-time fee because you will have complete coaching access and a lot more. And so if you go into the app and go to documents and link, you can click on that women's health track coaching upgrade, and you will be a part of that program. And I think everything has been answered for the most part. And we can always continue this conversation in the Facebook group. If you guys want to ask questions there, I'll be around. I'll probably sign off here in just a minute. And like I said, sample training goes out tomorrow early with 5 Line Friday. So you guys will get to dive into the PDF and really weigh like, okay, this is what this looks like, so on and so forth. So you know what all the programming is going to look like for you. And one more question. How you sign up for 5 Line Friday emails? Everyone should be signed up for 5 Line Friday emails. We really just send it to everybody who signs up for anything. But maybe email us, email support@industryfitness.com, and we'll make sure that you're on there. Make sure you're on the list if you're not getting 5 Line Fridays. Some people, I will say this, some people have said, hey, I'm not getting the 5 Line Friday emails. And we go and look, and they unsubscribed. So legally, we're just talking about from a company standpoint, if you unsubscribe from our emails, we cannot email you again. we can give you a way to try to join back. But if I were to like manually add you back in, that's actually illegal. And most systems won't even let you do that. So if you have unsubscribed, there are like 2 or 3 people I have in mind who are like, I really want those emails. I'm like, well, you unsubscribed. Like, I can't like add you back. So if you have unsubscribed, that could be the issue for some people. And we do have some ways around it for you to sign back up, but you will have to email us, support@into3fitness.com. All right, guys. Thank you for attending the webinar. This was a huge one. A lot of people on. I appreciate all the questions, and I'm looking forward to another cycle with all of you guys, especially with what's going on. And we will get rolling. I appreciate everyone, and we will sign off here. Thanks, guys.